All right, welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. Pleased to be joined by Zach Harig from Fox 17 out in Grand Rapids. How's it going, man?
Good, man. Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay, so what's been like? I see if you follow in the Grand Rapids area, you'll notice the background of Zach because that's where he's been broadcasting his updates from. How's
Yes.
that going, buddy?
It's different, man. It is so different. I kind of miss, the studio, the coworkers, not having to call people to communicate things, every minute of every day. But you know what? It is what it is. This is the hand we're dealt. And Jason Hutton and I are making the most of it. We're having fun. We're anchoring shows every Friday, Saturday night from home. And there's going to be a finish line somewhere, right? There's a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's kind of what's getting me through, I guess.
Yeah. So it has been, I know the Grand Rapids area is, known for having a lot of stuff, but a lot of the high school sports is really what kind of makes, your broadcasts what it is. Football season, basketball season. I know you're right. I know basketball is your wheelhouse. How's kind of that been going so far? I mean, with all that.
I love it, man. It's, when they brought me in, I took this job in October of 2018 and they said, look, we're not doing highlights of Tigers games, Lions games, Pistons games, and I was like, what are you talking about? I came from Toledo where we had to fill a half an hour sports show every night, as a sports network. And I wasn't used to that. And I came here and Jason was like, here's how we do things. And for 4 or 5 months, I'm like, this is wrong. This doesn't make any sense. And then it kind of dawned on me, like, if you really care about the Detroit Lions or the Detroit Tigers, you're on your phone, right? You're checking the score, you're watching the game, you're checking the highlights. But at a high school game, especially now with COVID, people can't go to the games, in most cases. Students, fans, I mean, we're kind of the people that bring that to them. And even if you are going to a game, let's say you're a Rockford parent, you're wondering how Granville, Hudsonville, other teams in the OK Red did, right? So we're kind of, that's what we want to bring. And then, you look at local colleges, Grand Valley, Ferris, Davenport, we have Western right in our backyard. Central's right there, Hope, Calvin, Cornerstone, Grace Christian, all these schools right here, that it's amazing. I mean, this market is great. People love high school sports. And that's where Jason and I, we love high school sports. I mean, we talk about it even on our days off. We'll call each other and like, can you believe this team lost last night? That's where our passion is. But you're right. I mean, I am a basketball guy. I played basketball my entire life. And it's just a passion, it's you have to love it. High school sports aren't something that will just grow on you over time. I mean, it's something that you really have to be passionate about to talk about. And that's, I love Jason Hutton to death. And that's, that's kind of where our niche is in this market. And that's kind of what we're known for. And we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Always fun watching the Blitz every Friday. That's awesome during all that. But yeah. So hockey's been a big surprise in the area. Byron Center is actually going for a state title tomorrow against Brother Rice. It's been a while since the west side of the state has claimed a state title in hockey, and everybody knows in where I'm from, the east side is all usually got some pretty good teams.
Yep, it's weird, man. I mean, it's 2011, I believe. Grand Rapids Catholic Central was the last team from our area to win a state title, and now Rockford is playing in a state semifinal, their first in program history. Byron Center has been an amazing story, unbeaten, and they've trailed in most of their games. That's what a lot of people don't realize. They've trailed at second intermission, and they've come back. Logan Nicholas is a sophomore that I rave about. Anybody who will listen, and Casey Campbell, you're listening to me right now, so I'm going to talk about him. This is just a kid that I mean, he just makes things happen. He's so fast with the puck. He makes the right moves. He gets tripping penalties, hooking penalties, because nobody can keep up with him. Byron Center's, in their 5th year as a hockey program, and they're playing the state championship. I mean, that just speaks volumes to the players, the parents, the athletic department, the support system that they have to make this all possible. And Taylor Keyworth is an amazing guy, great head coach, even better person. And I just couldn't be happier for the program. And obviously, selfishly, here in Grand Rapids, you really hope they can get it done. And obviously, CJ Pober, now in his 5th year at Rockford. You're hoping those guys can get it done too. But yeah, I mean, the west side of the state in hockey's been slept on for a long time, and hopefully this is the year where respect kind of comes back.
Yeah. So, there's been a lot of good basketball players, boys and girls, in on the west side. Kind of highlight them, and who you think had a pretty good year so far.
It's got to start with Kobe Buffkin. Obviously, he was hurt several weeks ago now with a hairline fracture in his wrist. That came against Grand Rapids Catholic Central. And speaking of them, Jack Harazinski is only a junior. I mean, he's one of the best players. Another thing I've been saying for over a year now. I mean, even as a sophomore, he stepped up and showed that, he's a high level player, just like Kobe Buffkin is. And a lot of people I don't think have realized how good he is. Caden Brown, when we're talking about Grand Rapids Catholic Central, I mean, they're probably the top team in our area. Caden Brown is a sophomore guard that leads them in points more nights than not. I mean, 21 points last night in the district semifinal win. He can shoot the lights out. He's one of the best shooters in our area. The list goes on. Ethan Erickson is headed to Ferris State. He's at Forest Hills Northern. He's unbelievable. Trinidad Chambliss, his teammate, also headed to Ferris State, but to play quarterback. They're really, really good. But there's so many players in West Michigan that maybe don't get the attention they deserve because they're not going D1, right? They're going to fall through the cracks and go D2, D3. But there's so many different players in our area. Zach Velthouse at Unity Christian, one of the best scorers I've seen in person. The list goes on. I mean, I could sit here and talk about it night in and night out here in West Michigan. On the girls' side, it has to start with Jillian Brown, East Grand Rapids. She's a Miss Basketball finalist now. Marasha Wiggins at Kalamazoo Central, of course, headed to North Carolina, also a Miss Basketball finalist. But here's the thing, all right? Jillian Brown is a senior at East Grand Rapids. Macy Brown, her younger sister, who's a sophomore, might be better than her when it's all said and done. I just want to put that in there. And that's motivation for both of them, right? I mean, Jillian's going to be mad at me for saying that. But man, I'm a huge Macy Brown fan. Like I said, only a sophomore, but she's a lot of fun to watch. And then, Hudsonville, you have to talk about the Hudsonville girls really quickly. Maddie Petrolia, she's a sophomore and she's one of the best players in our area as well. And Hudsonville is just loaded. I mean, Elena Diaz, the list goes on. I mean, JC Tubergen, go up and down that list. I mean, they run 8 deep. I bet you they have 7 or 8 players that could play college basketball right now. It's impressive.
Okay, so besides with in Grand Rapids, because you got baseball, softball, lacrosse coming up, what are we going to expect there? Because we have to expect the unexpected.
Yes, and I'm glad you said that because you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, there's state rankings right now, right? For all these sports, and it's just funny because it's like we're going off of success from 2 years ago, when 90% of these kids haven't even played a lick of varsity baseball, softball, lacrosse, whatever it is, right? Because obviously last year was canceled. So we don't really know what to expect. Obviously, Grand Rapids Catholic Central had a great year 2 years ago. They're expected to be good again. But again, even their head coach, we did a story on that last week, and their head coach goes, I don't even really know what to expect. We don't know. And that's really kind of where we sit. It could be a year where a team that we don't expect to step up does. But obviously the OK Red is always talented. You have Rockford baseball. They're always really good. Caledonia is always really good. Hudsonville. Those are the teams I'm kind of looking at. And honestly, in softball, it's probably the same way. Hudsonville softball is always really good. Caledonia is really good. Rockford. You go up and down this list of the OK Red schools, and that's kind of where the conversation has to start in West Michigan.
Yeah. So, I mean, kind of really going at it. It's like, I know you're, you got the background and all these other sports going on right now. What's it been like to, just have everything going on at just once and all that fun stuff?
It's been absolute chaos, if I'm being honest with you. I mean, a lot of people have asked me that, and it's funny because, back a few months ago, it was maybe 30 hours a week, 35 hours a week, maybe you put in 40. And that's not how I operate. Like, I don't want to work 30 hours a week. I want to go, right? I'm used to that in this industry. The same way you understand. I mean, being in this industry, you've got to go every day. I mean, no days off, really. You're always on your phone. You're always checking scores. You're always checking stat lines. And it went from 30 to 35 hours a week to boom, here's 50, here's 60. Let's go, let's go, let's go. More stories, more games. So it's been a blessing. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. Just to have high school sports back. And it's not for me, it's not for you, it's for these kids, and that's why I'm so happy that these kids get a chance. And even when seasons end in terrible ways because of COVID, I mean, at least it happened. I'm so happy for everybody involved in high school sports that it's just going on. So yes, it's not easy. I get messages all the time from different parents, like, why aren't you at this game? Why aren't you at that game? And I'm like, it's myself, Jason Hutton, and maybe we might have one other person helping us out, so we can't be everywhere. I mean, we've got a market, a huge market here in West Michigan, right? So it's tough to be everywhere. That's the biggest frustration, is like when all these games are going on, like tomorrow with boys basketball districts, and of course Byron Center playing in that hockey state final. It's tough to get everywhere. You get stretched so thin. You're trying to be everywhere at once, and you just have to realize that you can't. But no, it's been amazing. I mean, seeing everything from the rally at the Capitol just lead up to, okay, we're going to let winter sports come back, and here we are in the postseason. I mean, wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been exciting. I know you're a big Lions fan. Let's get your thoughts on how you think they'll do this year, because number 9 ain't going to be there no more.
Where's the Kool-Aid? Can I order a large, please? An extra large, 2 of them, 3 of them. No, it's funny. I'm always optimistic, always. And Matthew Stafford was my guy. I mean, from day one, that's the guy I grew up watching, right? As a Lions fan, a guy that I personally interviewed when I was 15, 16 years old, when I interned at Fox 17. And he couldn't have been nicer. I mean, and you understand, you deal with some egos in this business, right? You deal with people that don't want to talk to you, that get annoyed by the media, and rightfully so. But man, Matthew Stafford was just a guy from the get-go, was like the nicest guy in the world. And I've always respected him for that. And maybe that's bias I shouldn't have, but I've always supported him. And it's tough to see him go. But at the same point, I mean, the franchise is taking a different direction, and we've never seen an offseason like this. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but the only place to go is up, right? I mean, the pessimistic fans, I totally get it. And there's a lot that are way older than me, right? My uncle's 60 years old, and he's like, yeah, same offseason, whatever. But at least they're trying. I mean, something new. And Jared Goff has me excited. I mean, I think that was a great trade for the future. You get some building blocks. I'm not saying they're going to be competitive right away. I'm not expecting any 8-9 win season. I'm not expecting a playoff berth. But look, I mean, it's something to look forward to for the future. We have something to talk about, something to get excited about, rather than, all right, let's try to go sign some more big free agents and try to get over the hump. Here we are actually seeing this built from a foundation, right? It's not like we're trying to build a tower, on a deck of cards. Yeah. There's a foundation here. Lay the bricks and let's start building. So I'm excited about it. But again, I'm not here promising a playoff berth or anything like that. Not this year, maybe not next year, but it's coming. I'm excited. Dan Campbell has me fired up. And I think Brad Holmes has done some really good things as well.
Now, Dan Campbell will make you run, Dan Campbell will have you run through. Now, when he got hired, you ran through a brick wall, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I mean, there might be some holes in my apartment. No, it was funny because, as my roommate's Erica Shriva, our meteorologist. And I was on that Zoom call when Dan Campbell was getting introduced, and I put myself on mute and I called Eric into my room and I was like, you have to listen to this guy. Like, this is unlike any press conference I've ever been in hundreds of them. Right. And I've only been doing this a few years, but it was different. It was just different. And of course you don't win the job off of a press conference. I get it. Right. It's the Lions. But the fact that he came in and said, I'm not going to say the same things. You've heard it all before. Like, he understands what we've been through. And every other coaching staff before was like, oh, we're going to change the culture. It's the coach speak over and over. So no, I think Dan Campbell really gets it. I mean, even if he fails, I mean, he understands the city, understands the fan base. And that's at least something that, us fans can relate to and appreciate, right? It's not a guy that's coming in trying to, get to the next level personally, right? Like he's not trying to sit here and build a statue of himself. It's about the city of Detroit, about the team, and about the fan base, and that's what we can appreciate.
Yeah. What else are you excited for this coming summer?
What am I excited for? Whitecaps baseball comes back for the first time in over 600 days, 700 days maybe. That's exciting. Berlin Raceway. Hopefully we get, some fans there. We talked about that, before the interview. I mean, Berlin Raceway is it's a huge deal out here. We in Kalamazoo Speedway is the same way. I love the short tracks, the local. These guys that are racing in most cases have full-time jobs outside of racing, right? And that's what a lot of people don't realize. A lot of people that show up to the track, just to watch a race, they're like, oh yeah, it's cool, whatever, it's another left turn. But these guys go and work a full-time job. They turn around, they go and work on the car, they go to practice, they go to test sessions. I mean, it's so cool to see. So I'm a big racing fan. I love it. Maybe not the biggest on NASCAR. I'm starting to get back into it, and that's something I grew up loving. Fell out of love with it, but something I've never wavered on is like the local short tracks, Berlin, Kalamazoo. Like it's just that adrenaline boost. Like that opening night, nothing beats being at a track on a Friday or Saturday night, smelling the racing fuel, hearing the cars. I mean, that is like, I don't know. I've always told people, like, if I'm ever depressed, just bring me to Berlin Raceway, drop me there for a race, and I will be fine. I'll walk away and I'll be like, life is just so beautiful,
It's
Awesome. Yeah. What about you though? What about you? What are you excited for this summer?
I don't know.
I don't know. Day at a time.
Yeah, I mean, literally. You got. I don't know. I may go up to Berlin. I know Arca's going up there. I might go to Toledo. Got MIS later this week, and then you got the Grand Prix in June. I might go to Rocket Mortgage. I might go to the Ally Challenge. I don't know. I don't know what I could do. I don't know.
A lot of opportunities. That's all you can ask for. Right?
Big time.
Yeah.
All right. Zach Harig, thank you so much for coming on. You're always been a good friend over the years. Thanks a lot.
Anytime, man. I really appreciate it again. Thanks for having me.